Hello, this is Spaceman Will coming in with a ship review. So I wanted to kind of give this one a look. This was shared by the Space Engineers Facebook page, and I've kind of seen it floating around in the workshop and kind of wanted to give it some attention here. So this is the Agility Interplanetary Multipurpose Frigate 1.1 by Der Macrat. I apologize if I mispronounced that, but that's how the spelling looks like it's said. Anyhow, so this is a beautiful ship, absolutely beautiful. So, I wanted to kind of give it a cool little score here in 4 different categories. Those categories being exterior design, interior design, survival practicality, and combat practicality. Now, at the end, we'll round up all these scores into one simple total score, but these are kind of what I'm looking at right now. So let's go ahead, let's look at the exterior design. So right out of the gate here, this is a beautiful ship. No question about it. It's intimidating. It looks great. And I mean, what more can you ask for? I mean, look at all those weapons on there. I mean, this thing comes flying at you, you're running scared. Absolutely. Now, let's go ahead here. Just kind of highlight some of the cool features it has. And this will some of this is going to kind of overlap with some of our other categories, but that's all right. So some of these features I want to kind of point out is these beautifully hidden engines here. Now, these are going to be helpful in a defensive situation because it's not immediately clear, where these engines are if you're coming at it, or the main engines, that is, when you're coming in at an angle or from the front. You're going to assume they're in the back, but there's a lot of designs nowadays too where people are kind of utilizing the interior of the ship for their engines. So that's something that's kind of helpful. Additionally, you also have a ramp down here for easy loading of ground vehicles, or even aircraft or spacecraft, I suppose. Can come flying in there, or they can even lift in through the bottom. Excellent. You've got easy refueling and docking ports there, and one more on the top right back here. You're well defended on all angles. That's also a great thing. And you've got these missile turrets that are very well integrated into the design of the ship, which I very much appreciate. So we've talked about some of the highlights here. Let's get down to the more critiques I have. So starting with the decoy blocks, they're cool. They're definitely going to be useful, but I think they're a little jarring, and I don't like how they just kind of stick out there. We'll kind of explore those a little bit more later, but I'm not a big fan. It just kind of takes away from the aesthetic, I think, but still cool. But as I said, I think it takes away. Moving on here, we also have this ramp. I see why he did it. I don't like it. I see why it's useful. Still don't like it. He's using these thin glass blocks because these blocks right here, where the the actual armor blocks here, they're thin blocks, and it definitely adds to the aesthetic, those being thin blocks. I appreciate that. But these ramps here, I'm not a big fan of it. Just not a big fan. I don't think it looks cool. And it also attributes to the other critique I have. Gap right there, and gap right up here. You can't get a body through it, but it still, I think, kind of takes away from the immersion. But hey, that's not a huge deal. I also I'm just now noticing this for the first time. I like this LCD. That's really cool. That's a nice little touch. And that's something I do appreciate with this build. What's the name? Der Macrat has a very fine attention to detail, and that's just exhibited throughout this entire ship. And man, I mean, his talent really shows here, guys. So, oh, wow, that's another nice touch. I do like these cameras up here, protected by the glass. Wow, goodness. I have looked at this ship over and over for quite a while, trying to get this video, squared away. Had some technical difficulties in there, and every single time I redo this video, I'm always discovering something just a little bit cooler, to this design. So anyway, let's go ahead, wrap up the exterior design. Exterior wise, I'm going to give this an 8. My problems with it being the decoys, the ramps, and the gaps. So anyhow, moving on, we're going to go straight into the interior. So let's check this out. So here's your hangar. Excellent. Coming right in, you've got access to the armories right there, if needed. One on either side. And, oh, here is my first complaint. Now, walking across here, you get stuck on this. And there's not really a catwalk or anything you can really do about that. I mean, even coming down here, I guess you can do that. But, I don't know, that's not a big fan of that. Not very realistic due to the steepness of that. These kind of overhang as well. Not a big fan, but, you know, is what it is. Continuing on here, maybe. There we go. Continuing on here. Let's walk up here. Here is another little airlock. Excellent. And now this airlock leads you to the cryo chamber. So you got a little cool window here. And what's this? 6 cryopods. Excellent. And you've got a list of the to-do list there for your crew. Another list right there also for your crew. And you have a little crew area, little common area. Very, very cool. Once again, you have these blocks right here for added protection. That's really cool. You've got some dormitories here. Dormitories over here. And then another one of these small little details that seems to go overlooked. A bathroom. Absolutely wonderful. Alright. Continuing on, and here you have the bridge. You have 2 cockpits. You have a radar system, a ship overview, another ship overview, and then you have your power right there. Survival kit here for easy respawns, and a little locker in case you need some extra ammo or you're defending this from infantry. And then right here is an additional airlock going to the top of the ship. So you can get to the bridge pretty quick. I would almost take away points in the combat perspective of it, but you know, I'm not going to, because I think that this has so much, and you know what, we'll hop on that right now. We're gonna do well, before we do that, let's give this an overall interior score. Interior wise, this is a 10. I know I had a complaint down in the hangar, but I think that the attention to detail and the overall very linear layout of this interior pumped this up to a 10. I mean, this is just wonderful. Once again, the author did a wonderful job with this. Now, anyhow, moving along to the combat, as previously mentioned, this is a great ship for combat. As indicated, and let's go out here just so we can kind of... There we go. Okay. Those automatic doors are nice, but sometimes they can be a pain in the butt. Not worth taking a point away for, but very cool. Anyhow, moving on to combat. Look at all these weapons. I mean, this thing's armed to the teeth with awesome stuff. You've got missile launchers up here for even, you know, as a pilot to be, you know, involved in the combat and not just leaving it up to your automatic turrets. It's got the speed, the maneuverability, as indicated by the name, and we're going to look at that a little bit later too. But, I mean, this is awesome. And another little touch, welders for all of the the bigger turrets here. Not the interior, but the heavier Gatling turrets. You've got welders that will repair it up as you fight, so you're never really losing any weapons as you continue on your way. Are those always on? Yeah, they're... Is it? I don't know. I'm uncreative, so I'm not going to take any damage. No, I don't think they are. I think red's off. It's been a while. So, anyhow, moving on. Also in the combat kind of perspective of it, let's move down to the cockpit where we're going to kind of test out the agility for which the ship is named, as well as... Oh, did we break the door? No. As well as some of the more defensive features. So defensive-wise, let's hop over here. Press 5, look at that. You have hangar doors closing around, protecting your bridge that is true. I mean, it's exposed, but these hangar doors kind of negate that issue. You also have down here, if you see those windows we looked at previously, the door blocks around them are closed. And then I do believe, I'm trying to, oh, there it is. The hangar doors on the crew quarters also are closed as well. So, excellent. Now, as for agility, I'm kind of grouping this in with the combat. Now, of course, with the gyroscopes here, or gyroscopes, I apologize, you know, it has alright maneuverability. I mean, it's definitely on the higher side of the large ships, but here's where it really shines, the Q and E keys. So if I want to do a cool roll, look how smooth that is. Let's go the other way. Look how smooth that is. You know, it takes a little bit of use with the mouse, but, you know, That's excellent. That's fine. No complaints there. But this thing, combined with its high roll and high speed of turning, I mean, this thing's definitely a danger, especially with those missiles on the front. So, combat-wise, this is a 10. Absolute 10. Now, oh, you know what? Now that we're alright in the atmosphere, because, you know, once again going to the combat practicality, you have atmospheric thrusters, you have hydrogen thrusters, and you have some ion thrusters in there too. The ion don't help us in the atmosphere, but, you know, it's still helpful to have. Now, let's talk about survival. Now here's where I have some problems as well. You know, this ship's great for survival. It's great in the aspect that you have access to everything you need on this ship. You have, let's hop into the cockpit again. You have refineries. You have assemblers. Yes. You have O2 generators out the wazoo to assist with the hydrogen thrusters. And then, of course, you have just the basic oxygen tanks. Now, that's great. That's awesome. But here's the problem. It has a jump drive, which adds to the cost that's already pretty high for a survival situation. But the other bit is the PCU limit. 41,000. That's a lot. Now, to put it into perspective, I'm going to try and get this straight here. The red ship is 14,000 PCU. The blue ship is 10,000 CPU. And those are the default ships if you're unaware. I mean, that's 41,000 is pretty high, especially if you play on servers where, you know, you're limited with how many blocks you can place. So, you know, just pointing that out, that is a problem, and that definitely takes away from this score. But those are the only things that take away from the score. I mean, this ship is wonderfully laid out, which I think contributes to that survival practicality score, just where, you know, you can enter the ship and you can get to what you need to is super fast, which is awesome. You can build ships in the little hangar bay it has, and, you know, you can look good doing it. So, survival practicality is going to be an 8 for this ship. So let's go ahead and wrap this up with a total score. Averaged out those scores, leave it at a 9. So we're looking at a 9 for this ship, which is a high, man, that's a respectable score. So Dermakrat, however you say your name, excellent work, man. Keep it up. And you know what? I just want to give a little shout out. He has a Katana Interplanetary atmospheric fighter that, or I think he said it was. No, it's just Katana Interplanetary Fighter 1.1, also out on the workshop. I'm going to be just leaving a link to this ship in the description, but hey, check out his other work, because I mean, this guy's definitely talented. So hey, if you enjoyed this kind of content, let me know. If you have something you'd like me to take a look at, send it my way, or if you even just disagree with some of the points I've made here, or you have additional points you'd like to make, let me know in those comments. I appreciate it, and I'll see you around.